Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libran Key. These are messages for the highest and the greatest good of the empath collective and the empath journey here on Mama Gaia, part of the Elsh collective, of course, empaths, light workers, starseeds, healers, awakened and awakening souls. Know that if this video has found you or you have found it, that there is something here for you. There's always the intention that I infuse into these messages. And if you are returning, thank you so much for being here, sending you lots of love wherever you are. I'm not sure where this message is going to go. Spirit is simply guiding me to speak specifically about Aquarius, the energy of Aquarius. Specifically, what I heard right at the beginning, setting up this sacred space and going into the meditation, was a bridge of light. A bridge of light. And I was directed to place this Selenite ruler that I have. So I'm working with the energies of Selenite here. And they're pointing me to the fact that I am recording this while the moon is in Leo. We just had the full moon. I think the exact time was like around noon today. I'm recording this on Thursday, January 25th, and this message will be posted first thing in the morning for Friday, January 26th, okay? I heard Bridge of Light, Selenite. This is connected to the moon, and we're going to get to that in a moment. And Spirit was literally like, put the two decks that you're working with. Like I literally have the two decks sitting like this and the Selenite sitting right on top of these two decks, just like this, like a bridge of light, okay? I will be asking through the Light Seers Tarot and the Mystic Mondays Tarot. So we've got another message coming through here with tarot decks. Usually that means we're going to be going in depth, quite a bit in depth, to a lot of archetypal themes, a lot of very broad, I'm hearing universal, multiversal themes. And Spirit wanted me to get out. Now, this is a calendar I have from last year. This is A Year of the Night Sky 2023, but Spirit was directing me to get the calendar out for me to show you the constellation of Aquarius. And what's interesting is that you got to get to August to see the actual constellation of Aquarius situated for the northern hemisphere, right? Because I believe this calendar, covering the skies of the northern hemisphere, 12 detailed maps, and that is what this particular calendar is showing. And this is very important to understand for this message, is how Spirit is showing it to me, because right now we have a full moon in Leo, and the moon is currently in Leo. That is opposite Aquarius. And to get to Aquarius in this calendar, I had to get to August, which is Leo season. So there is something significant in that around bridging opposites. Bridging, hopefully you can see this. So that is the constellation of Aquarius right here. And I wanted just to bring that in as a visual for you to see. The water bearer, Aquarius, that is what Aquarius is. Aquarius is the water bearer. And if you look at this particular image again, you do not see Leo within the northern hemisphere. And they're really pointing me out to that. And they're also pointing me out to the fact that Vega and Lyra, or Lyra, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is right at the center of the night sky at this time of year. Okay, there's something in this about the shifting of the northern star. I'm not going to get too into that though. These are things that I'm feeling guided to go look at, in all honesty, post this reading, but they keep on pointing me to the fact that there's a connection here. There's a connection here galactically to what is happening, the shifts that are taking place, the reverberation of everything that is going on right now. Like this is a very big message with regard to the energy that is reverberating across Mama Gaia now, hemisphere to hemisphere. Because right now, going back to August, and the fact that Aquarius can be seen in the northern hemisphere in August, Right now in the Southern Hemisphere, the opposite is going on, and we are in the middle of summer. Okay, so Spirit is really wanting to, there's kind of, it's through Aquarian energy that Spirit is directing me to this balance of opposites and seeing everything as being on a spectrum. But Spirit is showing me a spectrum in a spherical way, coming back into unity. It's like, I'll give you the example of when, if you ever took political science or any kind of politics class in school where you learned about this spectrum in politics, and usually it was shown like this as a line, right? Where you see kind of like dead center, you would say, is like centrist politics. And to the far left, we get communism, right? Somewhere in here is socialism. Here we have left leaning, right? So this would be like, I know the equivalent. The crazy thing is that these definitions don't even apply anymore with the way that the politics are just being completely jumbled up. And by the way, this is an Aquarian energy thing, okay? And with Pluto moving into Aquarius and this Aquarian age that we are moving into, it's interesting because one of the questions that came through in the meditation was, what does that even mean? There's so many definitions around the Aquarian age, and there is a cycle of ages that we constantly are going through, and we are moving into a new astrological cycle, okay? I'm not going to get too much into that in this video, but what Spirit really wants to focus on here is the energy right now and what that translates to as being the Aquarian age. And I keep on coming back to this bridge of light. Okay, so continuing with this political spectrum, to the right we start to get more conservative in terms of our politics. And I forgot to mention, here in Canada, the Liberal Party is considered slightly left of the center, okay? Now, I won't get into political commentary on that because they're not really currently the same way that the Conservative Party in Canada, for example, slightly right, is actually not really that right either. That's a whole other story, which I will not get into for the sake of this reading and the message. But these are things to take into consideration because I'm hearing an overhaul of like what's happening. And this is happening politically in many different countries. Specifically what's coming to my mind now is the Canada, the US, and the UK for some reason. And I would even argue maybe Australia, since we are talking about certain countries. There's a connection to these countries, right? I'm going to stop there though, because I'm going to get too off topic. So the further right we go, the far right would be considered something like fascism. Except that fascism and communism are two sides of the same coin. So when you see the political spectrum, and I'm only using this as one example, okay? But it's funny because Spirit is directing me to the fact that this is actually a really good example to kind of use in terms of how something can look different on the outside, but it's the same thing on the inside. And this comes back to illusion. And this comes back to what the Age of Aquarius is also bringing in, a disillusion of illusion, the dissolvement of illusion. Okay, so basically we come back to this end. If you can imagine that this is, like, hypothetically speaking, the center of the spectrum. When we move opposite, we're basically coming back to the same thing again. All right. I realize that this concept goes very deep, right? And, it's funny because I keep on getting this message that this is just the beginning, right? And this is something that we will continue to explore moving forward. Now, what Spirit is directing me to right now, I'm just looking at my notes, Age of Aquarius, what does that even mean? And specifically what they were bringing attention to for this reading was a soul cycle. And we have to kind of think of a soul cycle as evolution, development, transformation, seeing the astrological wheel or this wheel of the zodiac, all the signs, as being like a journey. And just like in tarot, if you follow sort of the concept of the fool's journey in tarot, where the fool is essentially that soul going on a cycle, right? That individual going on a cycle or on a journey, they progress through each one of the major arcana keys, just like we all progress hypothetically, right? Through each one of the signs of the zodiac, which is why, for example, Aries is considered the child or the baby, the newborn, so to speak, of the zodiac, and often referred to as with statements in terms of I am, and they are a very pioneering energy, right? It rules the first house in astrology, it rules the body, it rules the form in which the soul incarnates right here on Mama Gaia. And then once we get to Pisces, Pisces is often considered a conglomeration of all the different signs, right? And that's why Pisces is associated with universal consciousness. So, and I'm not going to get too into that either, because there's a lot I could be talking about here. But essentially, this Pluto, what Spirit is specifically directing me to with Pluto going into Aquarius, is this number 19 to 20, this 19 to 20 year cycle on average. Now, not every sign that Pluto is in stays for that long. Some signs are shorter. It depends because of Pluto's orbit, right? But specifically what Spirit was wanting to point me to was the number 19, the Sun card in tarot, and the number 20, the Judgment card in tarot, which is the card that Pluto rules. And obviously the Sun is the Sun, okay, with number 19, with the Sun card. There's a very specific message here of a correlation, and I almost am, the way that it's coming through and the way that I'm understanding it, and I don't know if this is something that has already been referred to in astrology. It could be, and maybe I'm just picking up on it now, right? Please leave a comment below if you know this, okay, or if you've heard this before. I'm seeing the Sun being represented by that 19, that key 19 in tarot. I'm seeing the Sun as our own individual spark or expression and our own individual soul, and the Pluto as a higher octave of that connected to the collective, like the collective soul, not the band, although that's a great name, amazing name when you think about it, if it's connected to this, okay? Now, I'm just going to go a little bit into the energies of Aquarius before I start popping cards here, because Spirit just wants me to like start, you know, popping stuff off here. So water is consciousness. If you study, and very much collective consciousness and the collective unconscious, represented by Pisces, and Aquarius being the water bearer, I'm hearing is an awareness of this, right? So what's really interesting, and I always find this really fascinating, because a lot of people who maybe have a very basic understanding of astrology, the signs, things like that, once they start getting into it a little bit, mistake Aquarius for being a water sign, when in fact it's an air sign. It's an air sign. It's the last air sign in the zodiac, okay? It is specifically a fixed air sign, which is really interesting, because even though it may seem counterintuitive to say it wants to solidify things, that's what fixed energy likes to do. It likes to have things, it likes to understand things in a very, almost in a stabilized way, in a pragmatic way, okay, is how Spirit is kind of showing it to me. And there's things about Aquarian energy that almost seem contradictive, like this spectrum, like this opposites, like, you know, we're basically coming back to this circle again, where on the one hand, it's an air sign, but it symbolizes the water bearer. And on the one hand, it's fixed, whereas air energy is the highest level of movement in terms of an element that we get of the four elements. The least moving is earth, right? And when you think of air, you don't see it unless it's moving, right? So it's almost like this Aquarian energy. And what Spirit really wants to emphasize here and to help us tap into, and how this is going to key into the empath collective. I think what I'm feeling is that water energy coming through more than anything, connected to emotions and connected to being able to tap into this universal consciousness, or unconsciousness for that matter. And the empathic way of being like a sponge to this water. Okay, this is the analogy that they're giving me. This is very much an energy of coming back into stabilizing the emotional body. And I'm also feeling an energy here of detachment. But this is not a detachment that is cold or aloof. I want to make that super, super, super clear. This is a detachment that gives clarity to your situation, to your life, to what you're focusing on, to what to do next moving forward, to being able to distinguish what energies are yours, what emotions are yours, and what are not. So there's something in this Aquarian archetype that is actually incredibly helpful for empaths in being able to understand this more clearly. There's something about this meditation, meditating on the Aquarian energy, and the star card is how they're showing it to me in tarot, that can help us with this. Also, Aquarius rules the 11th house. And this is an energy of dealing with community, dealing with society at large, okay? I'm feeling also a lot of, and I mean, this makes sense because this is the Libran key. I'm feeling a lot of Libran energy wanting to merge with this Aquarian energy somehow. When it comes to this balancing, Libra is also an air sign. So what I'm actually being, and the 11th house is Gemini. Like that 11 looking, that's how Spirit is showing it to me. Gemini doesn't rule the 11th house, it rules the 3rd. But what Spirit is showing me is that 11th house. I'm just going to write the number 11 there and leave it as is. But the glyph of Gemini looks like this, right? And so there's this idea of 11th house, Gemini glyph, the Roman numeral 2 emerging here, right? This goes back to the Judgment card also being connected here with the 2. Divine feminine energy being a huge part of this. Mama Gaia, what's happening with her? It's almost like the 2 is coming in to be like, these are the energies. Mama Gaia, as an empath herself, is also tuning into, right? And the 11, I always see as a portal. And I always see even the Gemini glyph as a portal too, okay? Kind of like the 2 of Wands in tarot as well. There's an energy here of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and this element of air that's wanting to come in to bring a sense of detachment, a third perspective specifically is how I'm seeing it, in order for us to take a step back and be able to see the bigger picture, whether it's in our lives, whether it's in society at large, with this 11th house Aquarian energies coming through, and being able to balance, because we talked about this fulcrum. Those are the Libran energies, right? Being able to balance our, I'm hearing energetic template. Okay, and they just want me to start popping cards 20 minutes into this video. This is how we bridge. This is this bridge of light. We're bridging these energies together. That's how Spirit is showing it to me. These air energies and what each of them represents. We're bringing them all together in this culmination with Aquarian energy, the bearer of water, the bearer of consciousness. Like the work of Vita Austin, the work of Emoto, okay? These energies that water contains, consciousness, thought with the air element, becoming an actual thing, the power of our thought, the power of our minds in helping us to balance our energetic body. I'm hearing a lot of affirmations too, like the energy of affirmations of how you're speaking to yourself. This wants to pop out. 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. And the 7 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Coming out of energies, interestingly enough, this is the Libran. I'm seeing a fulcrum, right? Like the middle, the middle of a balance, the middle of scales. This energy of oscillation, this energy of coming out of feeling a very protective, a need to, I'm hearing opening up. These 2 cards are coming through and all I'm hearing is opening up, opening ourselves up, coming out of a defense mode, coming out of oscillation, opening up the mind specifically. And there's something very specific here about doing things day to day that gets you out of a rut, introducing new activities in your day to day, something through the body again, because this is the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, they're showing me a discharge of energy. Yeah, through the body. So what's interesting is, I don't know if some of you are feeling this, but the last couple of days I've been feeling a lot of static energy kind of all around me. I'm feeling it myself. I'm picking up on it. I'm picking up on it in my kind of field. And I think, you know, they're directing me to the sun again in these solar flares. Also, this could be an ascension experience. Something connected to the energies of Mama Gaia, her ascension, this static charge, this atmosphere that feels like a static charge, okay? And dissipating that through the body. So working out, going for a walk, getting physically active in some way, stretching, yoga as a practice, dance, gets you out of this energy of feeling frazzled energetically. And it gets this energy of feeling on the defensive with regard, because this is coming through as this static energy. That's how it's coming through. That almost feels like it's a little side note. Spirit wants to really make mention of that, coming back to these, again, I don't really like to refer to them as ascension symptoms. I like to refer to them as, these are experiences that the body is going through, that we're feeling. We're picking up on shifts and changes through the body. And something with water again. Water really helping to dissipate that, okay? Yeah. The Hermit. 9 of Swords in reverse. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot coming through here. It's overwhelming. Page of Swords. Okay. And the Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay. First thing I'm hearing is we need to slow down. With that Knight of Swords in reverse, we need to slow down. We've got the number 9 is really coming out here because we had the 7 and the 2 come out first. That's a 9. And then the Hermit popped out, which is the 9. And then the 9 of Swords in reverse to the 10 of Pentacles, which is really interesting here. I'll get to that in a second. Starting with the Hermit, okay? And this Knight of Swords. We need to slow down. There's an energy here of maybe going a little too fast. These energies are coming in very, very quickly. And our body is trying to catch up, essentially, is what I'm hearing. With this Hermit coming through here, this is about tending to our own inner light. I'm hearing our own inner sun. This is an energy of going inward. This is also an energy that is, interestingly enough, reflecting Aquarian traits of independence, of this ability to go, to be alone, to see things from a broader perspective as well, because we are on a mountaintop here, okay? The energies of water below. Okay, I'm getting also actually physically being in water can help dissipate this static energy. I'm seeing also like cleansing sprays of water, ones you can even make on your own with essential oils in them, like peppermint, cooling. I'm getting a lot of cooling energies with that. Okay, this is interesting because there is a nod here to some healing going on, especially when it comes to, yeah, I'm just going to pop these up in here. I mean, not being able to sleep is another thing, okay? With these ascension experiences that we're going through, okay? Except that what I'm being shown is if you're tending to your body in that physical way, allowing that energy to dissipate, and you're also tending to going within, tending to your mind, Page of Swords, coming back into this energy that was coming through earlier with regard to affirmations, okay? There is a lot of healing that can be had at the moment, especially when it comes to sleepless nights, not being able to sleep, too many thoughts in your mind keeping you up at night, and also how this energy is coming out here with this 10 of Pentacles in reverse is stuff around family. Stuff around family. Pay attention to your thoughts is what I'm hearing. Spirit wants me to specifically hold. And look what else is at the bottom of the deck here. Yeah. Oh, look at that. The Fool wanted to pop out. The 10 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Questioning. Oh, you know what I'm hearing? Oh, man. Like okay. I'm getting a lot of energy of like, around, let's say, an old wish, something that wasn't necessarily, that didn't actually go the way you wanted it to, something that didn't feel fulfilling emotionally. It's like I'm hearing again that phrase, rejection being God's protection, that it wasn't in alignment with where you are specifically now, okay? That's a quick side note. This Fool energy wanting us to start fresh again. And she is over water here again, okay? So Spirit really wanting me to point to it is so important that we are consistently meditating on a day-to-day basis. Even if it's 5 minutes. At this point in the game, metaphorically speaking, of course, or maybe not, depending on how you see things, okay? At this point in the game, and I'm not being flippant about that, okay? When I say game, I'm not making this like a fun thing. And like, although part of it has to be light. We need to come into this Fool energy. We need to come into this energy of playfulness, of innocence and purity. Not being flippant, of innocence and purity, okay? Coming into this Page of Swords energy, curiosity, becoming curious instead of getting down on ourselves. Also, yeah, the energy here, like I'm really being directed to the book here. Journaling, affirmations, writing them down, journaling out your thoughts. This essentially, if I could just say to, like, simplify this reading, these are the energies to be embracing right now. At the current time of this reading energetically, and also whenever you find this reading, timely yet timeless. These are the energies that are in alignment with our highest and greatest good to be embracing at the moment. Okay, that is how Spirit is showing it to me. I'm going to ask now through the Mystic Mondays Tarot for any additional messages moving forward. Spirit, really direct me. I'm getting, okay, Mama Gaia. Mama Gaia, the ultimate empath, wanting to come through with messages of soul support, specifically now for the Empath Collective. She kind of wants to say where she's at right now. She's showing me a scene. Yeah. She's directing me specifically to this. And I'm hearing light codes. And I just want to hold these two up right now. Because look at them. These are two completely different decks. And she's pointing me to the crystal in this card. And how this girl, this woman, she's capturing light codes with this crystal. The purity, the innocence of the white flower, the white rose. Okay. Play. I'm hearing dance again. I'm seeing that dance card. Look what's on the other side. These are the energies that we're transmuting. Coming out of this Capricorn season, moving into these energies of Aquarius, Capricorn being representing the devil, right? In the tarot. Okay, Mama Gaia wants to come in with an update here. Yeah, Six of Cups in reverse. Okay. Goes back to the energy of coming back into balance again. Emotionally coming back into balance. But that Six of Cups coming out like that in reverse, there could also be some kind of pull, especially for some of us here that are in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm going to speak specifically to this. Closing out January, going into February, we're in the middle of winter, right? There is an energy now that feels that it can get a little, especially if you're not getting a lot of light, like where I am. We haven't seen sun in the last, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you. Just remember that. Remember that that's going to have you feeling, especially as an empath, because there is definitely a high proximity of empaths that, you know, have what's referred to as seasonal affective disorder. Okay, they give names to these things. It's because we're meant to see the sun. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. I'm not going to get into that. So that, and also that's a symptom of the fact that we are, and I'm saying symptom here very specifically, that is a cause and effect of the uber masculine energies that we're supposed to be in all throughout the year, when during this time of the year, we're supposed to be slowing down. So this concept of this seasonally affected disorder is a direct result of the energies already being in balance in the first place, with regard to us not being in tune with Mama Gaia and her seasons. That's what she's coming in to say. Okay, Seven of Swords in reverse. This is coming out of energies of illusion and deception, especially around the mind, is what she's showing me. And the Devil card. Yeah, this card really wanting to make an appearance, okay? This is us coming out of the shadows. Yeah. Going deeper into the mind. I'm also really being shown, because the 7 is the number of going deeper. And I'm really being directed to this staircase going up into the mind, okay? It's interesting because in reverse, the moon here looks like it's waning, okay? It looks like a waning crescent moon. So coming back to the full moon that we just had in Leo, we are now going into a waning gibbous phase. Look at that, Queen of Swords popping out too. Yeah, this is coming back to this energy with these swords of the mind, the power of the mind, okay? And I really love that we've got a progression here from page to queen. For some of us, this is going to be happening really quickly. These energies are really supporting us to move into an energy of clarity. And I'm hearing positively aligned affirmations for each and every one of us in coming out of the shadows, in coming out of, and when I say that specifically, I'm talking about illusions and deception, okay? Some of us doing shadow work, and this energy really supporting us. Mama Gaia is speaking specifically about this energy for herself. That there is an energy collectively right now that she is purging. Look at that. Eight of Swords. There's a huge healing to the mental body collectively going on right now. Five of Pentacles. Moving away from scarcity and lack mentality. She wants me to end with these two. The Hierophant. And the Two of Wands in reverse. She's directing me back to this, the 11, the portal. The portal of change is what I'm hearing. Okay, you know what's crazy? This is nuts. Okay. We got the World at the bottom of the deck. Okay. She's legit pointing me to the opposite side of the world right now. Something in the southern hemisphere with this portal. Something with these light codes and energy. The balancing taking place. Because those of us... Oh my God. Okay. So those of us specifically, just like me and where I'm at right now, that are not being exposed to a lot of actual physical sunlight, she's showing me a portal to the southern hemisphere and the middle of summer. There's an energy that we can tap into connected to the southern hemisphere. She's showing me a portal of light where it's almost like, and she's showing me again how it's all connected, no matter where you are physically in this world, because energy is energy. And you can tap into the energy. There's the work that's being done now. I'm hearing solar work that's being done now in, it's light codes. She's showing me waves of light hitting the southern hemisphere. She's showing me herself as a battery. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's say this is Mama Gaia. Let's say this is the southern hemisphere. She's showing me herself as a battery being charged on the positive side here. Like I'm seeing negative and positive. The sun and that energy coming into her toroidal field, okay? Which is like a donut, or it looks like her aura. Let's just put it that way. It's her aura. Charging. And how if we're really tapping into this, we can feel this going on as empaths. We're able to feel this going on as empaths. And she's showing me again that static energy. She's showing me these light codes like they're reverberating. Okay. And she wants me to get to, yeah, all over the world. This is a cycle. This is the card that she's showing me herself like this in the middle. And all the energy reverberating like a circle. So if something is happening over here, we're feeling it here and vice versa. And when we're doing our part as empaths collectively on one end of the globe, on one end of her, it's reverberating to us on the other end. which is a really, really beautiful message. And she's showing me now herself encased in light, It's like a grid. It's like the divine grid, the divine matrix, that grid that's all around us. Okay, there's a lot of healing to be had for this. This Two of Wands in reverse is coming out as a portal on the other side, legit. And we're coming, there's a purging, there's been a continual purging that's been going on. But what she wants to point me specifically to, and this is where I'm going to close out the reading, she wants specifically to point to the fact that limiting beliefs of the mind and scarcity mentality is being purged. The empath collective is coming out of these energies into higher wisdom, She's showing me the pyramid here as a conductor of energy, okay? We are conductors of energy. Empaths are conductors of energy. She's also pointing me to the 8 and the 5 coming together. This reduces to the number 13. That is the number of death, rebirth, and the number of the divine feminine. That is the card that comes right after we get out of these energies of being stagnant or stuck with a hanged man. But she's specifically pointing me to the Star card. And again, this Aquarian energy. We go from the Devil to the Tower to the energy of the Star. And she really wants to emphasize the journeys that we have all been on. If you're watching this right now, she simply wants to acknowledge, I'm hearing the trials and tribulations that we've all been on to get to here. We've walked through portals. We've walked through these portals. And we will continue to grow stronger and stronger as we move forward. And she's basically saying she's a source of strength for each and every one of us. Tap into her. If you feel called to, if that's something that resonates with you, she is here for you. She is the ultimate empath. I'm also getting the transmutation of energies with this Two of Wands. This fire energy of transmutation. I'm getting more of the violet flame coming through. That came through, I think, in the last reading. There's been something going on with that too. Maybe a lot of people are connecting with the violet flame to do a lot of transmutation work. And she's showing me like how that's a really good thing, right? Especially meditations involving where we are being consumed energetically, of course, right? In the violet flame. Something about the teachings of Saint Germain significant in that too. And I think it's because, if I'm not mistaken, and I just recently came across this, Saint Germain was channeled into a book called the I Am Discourses. And again, these are affirmations. We're coming back to the transmutation of the mind is how she's showing it to me. Okay, I'm going to end it there. Thank you to Spirit, and thank you to Mama Gaia for being here for this whopper of a message, 44 minutes in. I thank you for being here and sharing your time. And I almost said sending. Thank you for sharing your time, your energy in this space with me. I'm sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation, always.